Hello everybody, I've had better days. Actually, I've had better weeks. I've been away on holiday and I come back to all of this. Basically, this week, in the world of Monsanto, they've had a rather, I suppose they would call it a streak of good luck. The FDA have appointed Michael Taylor as senior advisor to their commissioner Margaret Hamburg. They're calling him the food czar. Michael's has previous history with the FDA. He was their litigating attorney in 1976 and he served as their Deputy Commissioner for Policy from 1991 to 1994 and Administrator of the Food Safety and Inspection Service of the Department of Agriculture from 1994 to 1996. So you might think, yes, he sounds incredibly qualified. What did he do during that time? Well, he was like a rat up a drain pipe while they were constructing their GM policy. Their genetically modified foods policies were done in 1991 to 1992 when he was looking after their agriculture, or he was their Deputy Commissioner for Policy. So while they were doing while they were building their policy, he was doing it. This was the period when GM foods were allowed onto the market without any decent safety studies, despite warnings from scientists. It's also the time when Monsanto's genetically engineered bovine growth hormone, well, it's Eli Lilly's now, they bought the rights to it, but it was Monsanto's at the time. He determined that milk from injected cows did not require any special labelling. He also was the one to put through that if a company that didn't have bovine growth milk in their cartons, if they should choose to label this fact by saying we don't have any hormones in our milk, he made it so that they had to put a disclaimer on the milk saying that there's no difference between milk from treated and untreated cows, even though that is an absolute lie. Now, why was Taylor so pro-Monsanto? Well, it might have something to do with the fact that he had been Monsanto's attorney and Monsanto's vice president and chief lobbyist later on in his career. The man has quite a history there. So, yes, would you want Taylor having a say over policy over your food? Well, I wouldn't. I think Monsanto would. The Organic Consumers Association is urging members to contact President Obama, USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack, does that name ring a bell? And Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius. Now, I don't know if you remember my old vlog on the roundup on Monsanto, but Tom Vilsack was hired for the job of USDA Secretary, and his previous roles were so wrapped up in GM crops. The guy is a real lobbyist for GM crops. So I'm not sure he's going to be opening any of those letters. So far, the Organic Consumers Association members have sent 17,380 letters to the Obama administration, calling for there to be no former industry lobbyists and supporters of genetically engineered food being in there. So they've sent that many since it was announced that Taylor was a candidate. Now he is the candidate and has got the job. We've all got to sign a letter and get annoying them. That's not the only bad thing that's happened this week. We've also had a report from the FSA in the UK, which is the Food Standards Agency. Now, the Food Standards Agency have commissioned a study into the difference between organic and conventional food from a nutrient point of view. The the study was carried out by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, led by a guy called Alan Dangor. Now, the study has basically stated that there is no important nutritional benefits in organic food over conventional food. It entirely ignores the negative impacts of having increased amounts of chemicals, pesticides and herbicides in the food. On top of that, it bases its study on only 1/3 of the articles available that have been written since 1958. Basically, the way they've done this study is that they've reviewed all of the articles on the subject and come to conclusions, but they haven't reviewed all of them because they deem that 2/3 of them are not of a quality level, doesn't fit their quality levels or quality criteria. Not the FSA, of course, it's the London School of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, or whatever you call them. So they've decided that 2/3 of it is irrelevant and just focus on the 1/3 that they think is relevant. So this is a completely ridiculous report. So they've cranked up their propaganda machine on that one, and it's been picked up by all the mainstream media here. It was even picked up by the Sun, for goodness sake. So they're busy telling people there's no difference, it's fine, go ahead and buy whatever, you know, you're not really benefiting that much from organic food. This is going to change consumer spending habits. I really hope it doesn't, but I think it will. It will put massive pressure on the organic farmers if they're not getting the same amounts of revenue that they would be. If demand goes down for organic food, the market will go down. The organic farmers will struggle to keep going. We're going to lose even more options to have organic food. We're going to lose even more options of having healthy food that isn't engineered in a Monsanto lab. Bad week. So what's particularly interesting is that the FSA have really rushed out this report, considering that the EU have been funding a new study on organic food, and its results are due to be published in the next week or so. But they're getting out quick. They're getting out first. And basically, I'm going to link the EU's previous study that they carried out in 2007. They clearly state in that the higher, there's a much higher nutritional value of organically produced food. I'm also going to link a video by a fellow YouTuber, Mike over at Fever I Am. He has covered the world food crisis topic rather well. There's a whole heap of poo hitting the fan with regards fungus. The blight that was in the Irish potato famine is now attacking tomatoes in America, and it's quite serious. Bacterial diseases in corn, sunflower rust, there's Asian soybean rust, disease outbreaks in the cotton in cauliflower, the price of rice. Obviously the price is going to go rocketing. In China there's blizzards and thunderstorms, so rice isn't growing, they're not getting the harvest. A low level arsenic dose that they feed to chickens to kill stomach bacteria, which in turn they poo onto the ground, which in turn ends up in the rice. So yeah, food is going to become less freely available. Which just terrifies me, because it'll put more power into companies like Monsanto's muscle, despite the fact that Monsanto recently, that study which I will link, that says that crops aren't necessarily less likely to fail under Monsanto's, with using their products. They're not really more efficient or more productive. But despite that, it's all about PR by the looks of it, so I'm sure that it'll give them more control and more power, especially with Mr. Taylor and Mr. VILSACK, plotting behind the scenes. So, sorry for ruining your Thursday. I've had a very long Thursday. I will leave you to read the links. I would read them through for you, but I can't be arsed. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.